It started like every other Friday night. Pizza, cheap beer, and Sam showing up 20 minutes late with something stupid in his hands. "I come bearing entertainment," he announced, kicking off his shoes and holding up a dusty wooden box like it was a lost artifact. It didn't even have a label, just an old, dark finish and a brass latch that looked one flick away from falling off. Jess groaned. "Oh, please tell me that's not another bootleg Cards Against Humanity." Sam grinned. "Better. Pawn shop special. Guy said it's one of a kind, didn't even charge me full price, said he just wanted it gone." That should have been the first red flag, right? Some sweaty old guy pushing cursed shit like it's a half-off Tupperware? But we were too used to Sam's nonsense to care. Plus, it was pouring outside and Tyler had already opened the IPA that Jess bought, which meant we were in for the night. "Is it even playable?" I asked, reaching for the box. It was heavier than it looked. Dense, like the wood was soaked in something thicker than time. Sam popped the latch and opened it with a dramatic flourish. Inside was a foldable game board, black and silver, with twisting paths and symbols that didn't quite line up, like someone had designed it while high and anxious. 4 carved tokens sat in a velvet-lined slot: a crow, a key, a knife, and a flame. A deck of square cards sat in the middle unmarked. "No instructions?" Tyler asked, eyebrows raised. Sam pointed at the inside of the lid, where something was etched in careful cursive. 4 may play, turns must be taken, all must finish, no quitting. Jess read it out loud, then rolled her eyes. "So edgy. Did this come with a Ouija board too?" We laughed. I should have been weirded out, but honestly, it was kind of perfect. That dumb little rule felt like commitment. We'd all been drifting lately. Grown-up jobs, long commutes, the slow rot of real life. Maybe something that demanded our attention wasn't the worst thing. We each picked a token. I grabbed the crow. It felt cold, unnaturally so. Sam took the flame, of course. Jess picked the knife. Tyler stared at the key for a moment before nodding and taking it. We set up the board on the coffee table, dimmed the lights, and cracked another round of drinks. "Who goes first?" Jess asked. The top card of the deck flipped on its own. No one touched it. I swear on everything, I was watching the damn thing. A second of silence. Sam laughed nervously. "Must have stuck from the shuffle." "No one shuffled," Tyler said quietly. The card said, "Oldest starts. Draw and obey." That was me. I didn't want to admit that my hands were shaking a little. Not out of fear. Just the way your nerves buzz when something's too quiet and you don't know why. I reached out and drew the top card from the deck. The cardstock was thicker than I expected, rough around the edges like it had been hand-cut. "Tell the group something you never said out loud." "Wow," Jess said, raising her eyebrows. "Starting strong." Sam whistled. Confession time already?" I laughed, more out of instinct than amusement. "This is going to be a weird game." They looked at me, waiting. I glanced at the card again. No fine print, no escape clause. Just the demand. It didn't feel like a prompt. It felt like a command. "All right, okay, I used to fake asthma in gym class to get out of running. Like full-on dramatic wheezing. I even borrowed an inhaler from my cousin once to make it look real." They burst out laughing, which helped. The tension cracked a bit. "That's your dark secret? You scampered out of cardio?" Sam said. "Hey, you try climbing a rope with a mouthful of lies and bad lungs," I said, grinning. "Game wants secrets? Fine. That's what it gets." Sam drew next. He held the card up like it might bite him. "Swap seats with the one who trusts you least." He looked around at us, mock offended. "Wow, drama." Jess snorted. "Easy. I trust you the least, but only because you've shown up to this apartment exactly twice without a weird box or a half-broken speaker." "Fair," Sam said, already moving. He flopped down beside Jess and raised his beer like he'd won something. "Your move, my lady." She drew her card without ceremony. Name one thing you faked this year. Jeez, this thing's a therapist. You could say taxes, I offered. She hesitated just a second too long. I told my mom I like her new boyfriend. He's fine, but I don't know. He has this thin smile, like he wants to sell me a used car. See? This is bonding. Dark, weird, possibly curse bonding, Sam said. Tyler was last. He picked up his card carefully, like it might tear. What did you bury? He didn't speak after that. The room changed, and I don't mean metaphorically. I swear the lights dimmed by a fraction. Nothing visible, just a shift in pressure, like we dropped a few feet down in an elevator we didn't even realize we were on. Jess looked at him. You okay? Tyler folded the card and set it down beside him. Yeah, just weird question. He didn't answer it. No one pushed. The next few rounds passed with nervous laughter and half-jokes. The cards were weird, but maybe that's all they were. Just a game that tried too hard to be spooky. But then Sam drew one that said, Choose someone to follow you. Where? He asked. But the card didn't respond, obviously. I'll bite. So what, am I like in your cult now? He gave me a mock bow. Welcome to the flame. Nothing happened. No lights, no spooky noises. Just the four of us and this dumb old game. We kept playing. But the board was different. At some point, none of us saw exactly when, the little spaces on the path began to move, shift. The silver lines had become darker, and they twisted subtly. One curve now looped backward when I was almost sure I had gone forward before. A new path forked up from Jess's spot. The flame symbol under Sam's piece was glowing faintly. Not lit up, just catching light that wasn't there. I think we're drunk, Sam muttered. I'm not, Tyler said. No one was. The weird thing was, though, no one said we should stop. We all felt it. That itch under the skin. The growing weight behind each card. But no one stood up. No one flipped the board. We kept playing, like something in the room had taken hold of our good sense and pressed a finger to its lips. Next up was Jess. She drew a card, scanned it, and scoffed. Seriously? What color was the car? That was all it said. Just that. No context, no direction. She opened her mouth and paused, then shook her head like she'd gotten water in her ears. It doesn't mean anything. But her hands were trembling. You all right? I asked. She didn't answer, just drew her knees up and kept the card in her lap like a dead bird she didn't want to drop. All right, Sam said, trying to cut the tension. This round sponsored by vague ominous bullshit. My turn. He pulled a card, and his face changed immediately. You lied about the door. Tell them what you saw. What door? I asked. He didn't look at me. Didn't look at anyone. He just stared at the board and quietly said, Nothing. I didn't see anything. Sam, I said nothing. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I'd ever sat in. Jess set her card face down, like it might start screaming if it faced upward too long. Tyler spoke for the first time in 20 minutes. It's London. What? Jess snapped too fast. It knows us. Not like a game that's rigged. Like a person. Like it's listening and choosing. Sam gave a weak laugh, but it didn't sound right. That's a little dramatic, man. You think the pawn shop game is haunted? Should we call a priest before we draw the next Uno card? No one laughed. Tyler didn't blink. I didn't say haunted. I said it's learning. We stopped after that. Or at least we tried to. Jess stood up first. I'm done. Screw this. This isn't funny anymore. Sam nodded. Yeah, maybe we've had enough weird secrets and cryptic shit for one night. Tyler didn't move. We can't stop. Yes, we can. We just did. Look. Boom. Not playing. Game night over. The lights went out. Not flickered, not dimmed. Just off. Like the room had been yanked into a different time zone. Someone's drink hit the floor. Glass shattered. I think it was mine. Then, slowly, the board began to glow. Faint lines lit up across the path one by one, like veins under a thin layer of skin. The 4 tokens pulsed with dull color. And then texts appeared on the inside of the lid. Text that we saw earlier but had since faded. No quitting. Jess backed toward the door. Okay, no, I'm not playing some freaky-ass escape room that rewrites itself. She pulled the door open. It led into the kitchen. Not the hallway. Not the apartment hallway that we all knew should be behind that door. Just the kitchen. Again. Like the layout had doubled in on itself. We all stared. Should try the front? I said. My voice sounded like someone else's. She did. And I could see the second she touched the knob that something was wrong. She turned it. Pushed. The door didn't open. Locked? Sam asked. No, she whispered. It's not locked. It just won't open. I looked down at the board. Another card had been dealt. No one drew it. It just sat there in the center waiting. Play or stay. We didn't speak for a while. The only sound was the rain hammering the windows and our own breathing, sharp and shallow. The board was lit now, faintly alive with that same sickly glow. No power in the apartment, but the thing pulsed like it had a heartbeat. Jess hovered near the door, arms crossed, face pale. Tyler hadn't moved. Sam paced in a small loop, eyes darting between the game and the windows, like he was hoping reality might snap back if he didn't blink. And me? I kept staring at the card in the center. Play or stay. It was written for all of us, but it felt like it was talking just to me. Finally, Tyler sat up straighter. His piece, the key, glowed a little brighter. He reached for the deck and drew a card. No hesitation. No resignation. Confess what you buried. His jaw clenched. We all waited. I was 13, he said, voice flat. We lived out near the woods, and there was this cat that used to follow me home from school. Mangy thing. Used to hiss and snarl at me all the time. Thought the damn thing might have rabies. One day my dad snapped and took a bat to it. A pause. I buried it. I didn't tell anyone. Said it ran off. No one spoke. Jess sat back down slowly. The lights didn't come back on, but the glow faded slightly, like the game had eaten that confession, absorbed it. It's cool, so we're bartering trauma now. Great, Sam said. I looked at him. Your turn. He froze. Dude, no, screw that. I didn't sign up to be psychoanalyzed by IKEA's Satan expansion pack. You think you can stop now? We tried that, Tyler said. Sam stepped forward, grabbed the deck, and flung it across the room. Cards fluttered everywhere, landing in soft, whispery thuds. One landed face up near my foot. Defiance will be punished. Yeah? Sam shouted at the board. Come punish me then. What, are you gonna give me a stroke? Possess my fridge? That's when the sound started. Not from outside, but from inside the walls. Like something dragging nails down the studs. Slow. Purposeful. We all turned. Sam back toward us, arms raised. Okay, you made your point. The board lit again. One card rose out of the scattered pile and landed back on the center space. No one touched it. Sam's token, the flame, began to smoke. Actual smoke. Curling, thin tendrils of black rising from the carved wood, like incense from a temple no one had ever left alive. Then it split. The token cracked straight down the middle and fell apart. Sam gasped and dropped to his knees. Sam! I rushed over. He was breathing, but shallow, eyes wide, staring at nothing. Jess touched his shoulder. He didn't react. Another card flipped on its own. One has folded. The board claims his place. His piece was gone now. Not just broken. Gone. I looked back at Sam, and he was gone too. No sound, no flash, just not there. There was a wet ring on the carpet where he'd been kneeling. Jess screamed. Tyler didn't move. And me? I picked up the nearest card with shaking fingers. Your turn, it read. I stared at the board, waiting for it to flicker, shift, burn, something. But it just sat there, calm, patient. It had all the time in the world. Jess was shaken. He was right there. He was just here. I didn't have words. Tyler didn't either. Then his token moved on its own. 2 spaces forward, no card drawn. The board was skipping turns now, rewriting the rules as it went. My breath caught as a new card lifted itself and hovered near Jess. She didn't touch it. It floated closer. When she didn't reach, the card simply flipped itself. Say what color the card was. Say it. She froze. That same question again. Her hands balled into fists. I don't know what that means, she whispered. But her face told a different story. The blood had drained from it. Her eyes had gone glassy. Tyler leaned forward. Jess. She didn't look at him. Didn't look at either of us. I told them it was green. It wasn't. What wasn't? It wasn't green, it was black, and it didn't slow down. My skin went cold. Jess exhaled like she'd been holding that breath for a decade. She was running across the street, and I said it was green. I said I didn't see it, but I did. I saw everything. The game didn't react, but her token, the knife, moved forward 1 space. No one touched it. Jess wiped her face with the sleeve of her hoodie. You're gonna make me finish this, aren't you? The board didn't answer. It didn't have to. She picked up the deck and held it out to me. My turn. I pulled a card. Bury the truth. My mouth went dry. I didn't understand it. Not really. But my body reacted like it did. That same deep recoil. Like the way you flinch before the memory even lands. What does it say? Tyler asked. I shook my head. Nothing. But that wasn't true. Because the moment I read it, I felt it. The woods, the flashlight beams slicing through trees, the 4 of us drunk, laughing and stupid. The missing girl in the news the next morning. And Sam, his voice low, almost too calm, saying, We didn't see anything. We didn't hear anything. Got it? We'd made a pact. Right there, on the edge of the clearing. We'd buried it together. I need to leave, Jess said suddenly, standing again. I don't care what this thing says. I'm done. Don't, Jess, don't, Tyler said. She went for the front door again. It opened. Not to the kitchen this time, to somewhere else. All I saw was fog, endless white fog, and the faint sound of something wet dragging across tile. Jess stood frozen at the threshold. I think that's not for us, I said quietly. She didn't turn around. Then maybe it's for me. And she stepped through. The door closed. Didn't slam. Just clicked shut like a gentle apology. We didn't move. Then her token, the knife, vanished from the board. Not cracked, not melted. Just disappeared. Only 2 pieces left. The crow, the key, me and Tyler. It was just us now. I hadn't realized how loud it had been until it was silent. Jess's breathing, Sam's pacing, even the soft shuffle of cards gone. Just the rain outside, and the soft, rhythmic pulse of the board like it was waiting for its meal. Tyler sat across from me, still as stone. He drew without being asked. Choose the one who remembers. He didn't speak, just looked up at me. And I knew. You already remembered. You just didn't say anything, I said. He nodded once. You saw her in the woods too? We all did, he said quietly. You left her. So did you. We stared at each other over the board. 2 people pretending not to be monsters. I drew my card. One may win, one must stay. I looked up slowly. Is this a trick? And Tyler just shook his head. It's the last time. I felt sick. Not just because of the game or the memories crawling out from under the floorboards of my mind, but because a part of me had always known this would end like this. That one of us would be the final offering. What happens to the one who stays? He looked at the board, then at me, then at the door. The same thing that happened to the others. We sat in silence for a long time. Neither of us moved. Then Tyler did something I didn't expect. He smiled. Not wide, not cruel, just sad. And he reached down, moved his own piece forward. 1 space, then another, until it hit the center of the board. The key flickered, cracked, then vanished. Tyler was gone. No scream, no light. Just the space where he had been, his chair still warm, his glass still half full. The board dimmed, and the lights came back on. Just like that, the room was normal again. The rain had stopped. My phone buzzed on the counter like it had never died. The front door opened with no resistance. The game sat quiet. Finished. That was a week ago. I told the police that Sam, Jess, and Tyler bailed mid-game, that I must have passed out, that I couldn't remember what happened after. They searched and found nothing. No blood, no prints. Just an apartment full of beer cans and silence. I told the people closest to me what really happened that night, but no one believed me. But I didn't care. I was just glad to be out. Until tonight. Until I opened the closet door in my bedroom and saw the box sitting on the floor. Same black wood. Same brass latch. A new inscription carved into the lid. The inscription read, "Your turn."